Why hello there, Pen Warriors. Shams Nelson here from Pen and Blade, and welcome to a very exciting edition of Map Monday, brought to you on a Tuesday for a particular reason, because today is a special day. This new edition of Therians Fire has been released, and it features my first ever published map. You can find it on Amazon and check it out. It's a great story. I'm not going to go into it in detail because I'm afraid there'll be spoilers. So in this video, I'm just going to share with you the process, go through all the different files and process and kind of a little trip down memory lane because this was back earlier in the year. And I honestly think that this is definitely the best map that I've ever created. The most time and thought and energy and just the execution and everything. I really think that it's some of my best fantasy cartography work. I'm especially proud of the map markers. So yeah, let's go in and check out some of these files, and I'm kind of going to go through this a little pretty blind and kind of just share my thoughts on the map making process. So I think that this was the oldest file, or for where it all began. And I believe that here I'm basically just trying to get the layout down. So, okay, so I had done a few sketches on paper just to get an idea and a feel for, some of the regions, just to start brainstorming. And the first thing was to figure out like the style we wanted to go for. Would this be inked? Would it be pencil? And what we first decided was to go for a traditional pencil drawing. But what ended up happening is I realized that I could put a lot more detail and focus and clean it up if I simulated the pencil as a digital thing in Procreate. And so the next thing here you'll see is the layout. So these are actually two characters. It's really interesting. The animals in this world can speak, which is something I don't see very much in fantasy. And I think it's really intriguing because it adds a whole dimension of like what are different cultures or factions within the animal world, and how do they also relate to humans if they're able to speak. And so that's a really kind of fun part of the story, in my opinion. So let me go to Timelapse here. So what I wanted to do here is, because I knew it was going to be divided onto 2 pages in the print version, and I love to see the print edition. I'll share photos of that on my Instagram, and I'll also be doing updates there, and actually even we're planning a giveaway. So if you're interested in potentially getting like an autographed copy of the book and a printed version of the map and stuff like that, then check us out on Instagram. I'll put the handles here, and just keep an eye out on the stories and everything for that. So here was really just making sure that the layout fit and that the page break in the middle didn't cover up any of the important map markers, and just kind of deciding, okay, how many map markers are there going to be? Which of the ones in yellow are the places that we wanted to give a little more emphasis, so it had like a more calligraphic text to make it stand out a little more, or larger text, and which of the map markers would also get the most attention to detail. And so you can see here, this is like down there where I was drawing those different trees. That's just birch grove, so I wanted to differentiate that, and I was trying to figure out, okay, how do you represent birch trees in differentiating that from the rest of the forest? So that was an interesting challenge. And one of the things also is to add this border and with these Crete animals, these characters to the side. So this is kind of the layout roughly that we ended up going with. One of the things I really appreciate, we'll actually get into that now, I think, is the map markers. So there's a lot of detailed thought that went into these. So for instance, Redfoot has these 3 towers, and this, there's a special word for that sort of building, this one right here, but like actually representing things that are, instead of just doing a standard city marker, to make the city marker unique and stand out, or unique to the actual location in the novel. And same here with the buildings and houses and stuff that go up onto the Zir mountain. That's kind of like the castle, the Glademont Castle. I think it's not Castle Glademont, but Glademont Castle. um, how it's kind of built into the side of this sacred mountain. So we have this hobbit-like den. I won't give out too many details again. This is called the um, what is it? The Council of the Nest. That's right. So it gives you a clue as to the functionality or what this marker is. And if you read about it in the book, you'll also see that this marker represents how it's depicted in the novel. And same with the militia headquarters. I thought this one was really fun. There's this kind of like a crater and uh, a cave that goes in there. So so yeah, no, Emily really gave me, she's the author, gave me a lot of really nice creative ideas to work from, and we chatted back and forth to really kind of iron things out. So let's go ahead and time lapse. Oh, did we give a time lapse of this one? That'd be kind of fun to watch. Let's do that. But yeah, I really think that that's one thing that I want to bring into my cartography in general is um, kind of giving more attention to the map markers and how it can make them unique, because I tend to just use standard map markers, but this kind of was an interesting challenge, and it's a reminder that you can get really creative using a few building blocks. So you see the city, the town, the houses in each of these are pretty much the same structure, but it's the way they're arranged. And then we've got towers and homes basically are the two elements, and then maybe some unique ones like this rotunda. I don't know, but anyways, and just kind of the way mixing that up, putting it up on the side of the mountains, adding one unique feature here and there, all that makes it very much possible to give each city marker a very unique flair. And then even adding markers that represent things that are very different or foreign to what is a normal city. A really interesting way to, expand upon a map and really let your imagination get drawn in there. And of course, we've got a little hobbit hole type city, so maybe include some more halfling style abodes in future maps could also be a fun one. Experimenting with different styles like different races like elves and dwarves, and really exploring how to make unique markers that will represent each of these different kinds of people in different cultures. Cool. So then we have, this was the first phase of the map, and then I copied it over to have a fresh version with less layers. So let's go ahead and time lapse replay this. So starting with I was able to bring over some of the markers I drew on the other file, and then from there, that gave me a general scale. We're going to see a lot of tree drawing, that took a lot of, a lot of the time is just drawing each of those individual trees. And I did, copy and paste some over, which I think is nice because it creates a sense of consistency, but then I would always kind of customize it, like erase one or two trees, add a rock here and there. So I hope it was never, it's not obvious that they're like, you won't look and see like, oh, that's the same tree as that over there, unless you're really scrutinizing, very much looking for that on purpose. And then I put this extra heavy outline on the creatures, on the animals in the front, because to kind of bring them into the foreground and separate them from the backdrop, which is the rest of the map. Well, actually, the rest of the map is really the focal point, but basically to give those a hierarchy so they feel separate and doesn't get too busy overall. So again, I think here we're just kind of drawing, I don't know what all these circles are, but drawing lots of little trees. Here I'm going and creating the birch grove with this different kinds of tree, and just kind of, working on it, moving things around, shifting them, getting into the vibe. So let's go and check out the final piece here and watch the replay. I really also like how the canyon turned out. I thought that was cool over there on the right. The river winds through. So here I'm surprised I had a lot more work done on it from the other one. Did I start over? That doesn't seem likely. Oh, because this was copied over from the last one. So this is a repeat. So I just duplicated the file. So we were somewhere around here where we left off the last one. Shifting things over, kind of keeping an idea where the center line will be and making sure that none of the text is cut off. We have this upper and lower area, which is distinguished by these cliff sides over here. And even this little spot, this little guy right there, he's, you know, there was a very kind of, what's it called, intentional design there to have the home look like this mansion, this manor that is separate from Glademont Castle, and give the idea that it's this like large home, large and like wealthy estate sort of thing. So wanted to figure out how to get this all to not get cut off on the page so that it doesn't feel like there's a sharp edge. I kind of just faded out the edges there on this stag, this very noble looking stag, I hope. And yeah, so Atheos is the enemy kingdom, like the bad guys, right, to simplify. And so kind of giving that marker that they're in that direction. A lot of the story takes place in the Hinge Forest and in that region. Old Glademont Castle, these ruins, and there's a lot of intrigue about like how things used to be and how Glademont is now because of the way that things played out in old Glademont, and you know, kind of like a shift in beliefs and ideology that happened there. And you know, I just won't be a spoiler, but hopefully you can tell, because you find out in the beginning of the book you meet this character who is in the form of this crow, and he is a villainous fellow, as you hopefully can tell from this drawing. And yeah, I really like a lot of the names of the places. I feel like they're interestingly like not complicated in a way that's difficult to remember, but still feeling unique. Hinge Forest, you know, Redfoot, Greenreed, things like that. Glademont sounds very iconic. We were toying around with having this be as if it's the actual map of a character, this character Prince Linden, the map that he carries around. But in the end, we decided to remove that feature. So that was a little, you know, a bit of the process of exploring how to bring this map and really have it kind of represent and live in the world. And so that's the reason why we wanted to go for a sketched, like hand-drawn style as opposed to more digital art. And so I tried to keep it looking like a pencil drawing. I kind of decided that I thought that it might, you know, have these kind of ruffled feathers, because as I was reading the book, I got this impression that this crow character is very, like he's more rough around the edges. So I wanted to have that be obvious in his character design. And so, yeah, so that's why I kind of added those ruffled feathers. And so I think this is me just at this point just refining little details, you know, adding a few trees here and there. I think we had settled on everything. You can see there's some fog in the foggy plains. I thought that was a kind of cool effect. That was a bit challenging to figure out, but I think it came out nicely. And just, yeah, finishing up the details. So this was a super fun project to work on. I'm really excited that my map has made it into a published novel, and I'm proud of the work that we've done on it. Oh, and I also thought that the border was a nice touch. At first, you know, I simplified it, but I think it really vibes well with the theme of the book and the vibe of the book. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed checking this map out, and if you want to stay up to date with the festivities and, you know, the goings-ons, then Instagram will probably be the best place to do that. And so yeah, that's it. Peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.